Hello, I'm Jack, welcome to WightWanderer and what is the final video of 2024. You join me today at the Cement Mills just south of Cement Mills Halt on the Cowes to Newport line, the first standard gauge railway built on the Isle of Wight, opened in 1862. Now Cement Mills Halt was basically a very small wooden platform constructed to serve the workers who worked at the cement mills, and it was so insubstantial in fact that it is unclear when it was actually built. Some sources suggest it was 1905, but then others say that it was there as early as the 1870s.
Unfortunately, the Halt has long since closed and the platform replaced with foliage and a dog bin. Though when the nettles were last cleared in 2009, part of the structure was still in place. The area of the cement mills is now occupied by the Vestas factory. And though the kilns are still existent, much of the original complex has been vastly transformed and modernised, after cement manufacturing ceased in 1939. On the whole then, that appears to be it. A small halt serving a long defunct industry.
But despite this, from a railway perspective, there is a lot more going on here in this area than first meets the eye. And to explain why, oddly, I have to start this video by talking about another fellow YouTuber.
See, much of the Cowes to Newport line is now a beloved footpath and cycle track. And Nell and I actually walked its length a couple of years back as part of our Disused Railway series. Recently though, Ant from Trekking Exploration has done the same, albeit in a much more professional manner. And in that video, whilst passing Cement Mills Halt, he asked the viewers about a strange bit of railway that appeared to traverse the running line and lead down into the mills. I commented on this video explaining that it wasn't in fact a standard gauge railway but an old tramway to the clay pit on the western side. Apart from that though, not much is known about it.
Ant though touched upon a subject which is often overlooked in relation to Isle of Wight railway history. I'm talking of course about industrial tramways and their significance. So after watching this video I did a little bit of research, and what I found, hopefully, is rather interesting.
Ant's question reminded me of a short clip I found about a year ago somewhere online, which featured footage from the 1930s towards the end of cement making on the Isle of Wight. And after a bit of a mooch on the internet, I found it again in all of its black and white glory. The reason I wanted to find this video is because it featured some rather rare and unusual railway footage. And to analyse that footage with comparison, I've come here to Shide Chalk Pit, in the outer suburbs of Newport.
Shide Pit today is much like any other pit. It's been left to nature, and if you ignore the abandoned shopping trolleys from the local supermarket, it is a dog walker's paradise. But thanks to this rare footage, we can now get an insight into what it looked like as a working pit just under 100 years ago.
The previous life of this once important industry has been captured in pre-Technicolor charm. But more importantly for us, it shows the function of its railway. Here we see a steam excavator filling a standard gauge railway wagon with chalk fresh from the hillside. These unusual wooden cladded machines that you could argue were the predecessor to the modern JCB were the workhorses of this industry. Meanwhile, chipper men sporting caps and a very high waistline worked away on the steep hillside, using primitive drilling machines and dynamite to remove thousands of tons of chalk from the embankments, ready to be gathered and shipped off to the furnaces. Back to today, and we still see scars of this former industry, left to nature and ruin. If you look a little closer too, you can also find evidence of its railway past.
Now from here the wagon would have been propelled by gravity down through this small tunnel with one person on board whose job it was to operate the handbrake. Obviously health and safety wasn't really a thing back then. It would then travel down the incline to a siding just north of Shide Station, and from there a goods locomotive, usually an A1X Terrier class, would pick up the train of wagons and take it north through Newport all the way up to the cement works. Now the video I found last year was about 3 minutes long and ended about here, just showing the process of what happened at Shide Chalk Pit. But upon re-researching it and trying to find it again recently, I actually came across the full video it was actually clipped from, and it shows the entire process of cement making here on the Isle of Wight.
In this extended footage after leaving Shide Pit, we cut to the cement mills, where you can see the Halt and witness a train of workmen arrive at the platform, before making their way down to the mill to start a long gruelling day's work. We then cut to the clay pit on the western bank, with an excavator, excavating. This is where, though, it becomes interesting. Check out these fellas. One appears to be fixing a narrow gauge track, and this one furiously pushing a wagon. There's no doubt in my mind that this is the tramway in question, as later on in the clip we can also see this Isle of Wight Terrier class, like I mentioned earlier, arriving with a train of wagons from the chalk pit.
Now, footage of any industrial tramway on the island is very rare indeed, as these were industry-built lines that were seldom seen by the public. Now, that in itself makes this video very important, but as the footage continues, it becomes even more intriguing.
A little further along in the clips, we come across this superb bit of film. What's this? An actual locomotive. And to prove again that this is actually the railway in question, here's some more footage of that locomotive actually crossing the standard gauge line on the east end of the mill siding, where this chap rather conveniently pops his head up to let you know the train isn't just driving itself. As it turns out then, this tramway, which I had actually previously assumed to be a small man-powered affair, actually was a lot more substantial than first depicted.
What I think is great though, apart from the footage of this old locomotive, is now this rather insignificant little bit of railway line has some context thanks to this old footage. It brings it to life a little bit and makes it that much more intriguing. So today I thought I'd come here and try and find at least a small physical remnant of its past existence.
Now, as previously stated, the site as it was has been completely bulldozed. But one remnant does still remain. The old bridge which allowed the tramway to cross under the Cowes to Newport line. And it is still there, though if you blink, you'll miss it. Behind some brambles, here it is, filled in with spoil and used by a rerouted stream. Either side of its opening stand two standard gauge rails, another remnant of the railway which once passed through this area. And on the girder we can also see a rather dilapidated builder's plate. Over at the kilns though, there may be some more evidence of the tramway, as sticking out the ground are what seem to be two more rails, these ones both narrow gauge. Perhaps another forgotten remnant then of this lost railway.
Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that brief insight into the Cement Mills Tramway. And if there's any narrow gauge railway buffs watching this video, please do comment below if you know the nature, the origin of the industrial loco that features in this old footage. Now, and I will be back in 2025 with more videos. I'm now off the night shift, so I've got a bit more time to film, which is great. Until then though, have a very happy new year, and thank you so much for supporting the WightWanderer channel. As always, all the best and take care. Bye.